Youth Uncut. Youth Uncut is a show that gives youth a voice and an opportunity to discuss the things that mean most to them. I'm your host, Coach Devon Buchanan, founder and executive director of the Focus Youth Network. The Focus Youth Network is a nonprofit organization that provides innovative educational and recreational activities for youth and their families centered around three main pillars: wellness and nutrition education, character development, and post-secondary success. Today, I'm super excited to have a group of people here and someone that I have known now for about 6 years. She is a dear friend. She is the founder and creator of Breakthrough University. KRISTIN Lewis, how are you today, KRISTIN?
Hi, hey Devin, hey team. How y'all doing today?
We're doing great. You guys can go ahead and come off mute. We're ready. And so I just wanted to talk to you guys today. I wanted to welcome you onto the show and really give you an opportunity to talk about your experiences this summer. I'm an advocate of amazing summer programs and the amazing people who run summer programs. And you're certainly that, KRISTIN. So I wanted to give you an opportunity to come on and tell the city about Breakthrough University, what you do, and then also just the amazing young people that you work with. And so just to get us started, just tell us a little bit about yourself, Breakthrough University, and all that you do.
Okay, so my name is KRISTIN Lewis, and KRISTIN Lewis Fullenwellen to be exact. And I'm a serial entrepreneur. I started off being a self-published children's book author. I asked my creators to give me a product or service that was going to change the world. So I went to bed one night and prayed and woke up and I wrote everything that I saw in my dream. So I had a dream, and ultimately I got a chance to sell over 500 books. I'm not quite sure how long it took me. I want to say maybe 1.5 to 2 years to sell over the 500, but I was really grateful. And at that time, I was caring for my sick aunt. So I used the funds, the proceeds from the book, to be able to help my aunt at the time who was ill and whom I was assisting, caring for, my husband and I. So needless to say, I had got bitten with the entrepreneur bug, becoming an author. Mm-hmm. And when I saw that I could actually put out a product or service and get a profit, I said, well, let me try this and let me try that. And then I just would get different ideas, have different dreams, and just have different ideas of things that would come into my mind of things that I could try. And lo and behold, here we are. Mm-hmm. So a friend of mine, Miss Hope from Urban Affairs, I should say, she had a program that she was dealing with because mm-hmm. Urban Affairs, they actually fund and put together Work Ready.
Absolutely.
So that's one of their affiliates. And so she says, well, you're a self-published children's book author. Would you like to be a work site? So lo and behold, that is how we came to be, with me learning the individuals and getting a chance to know the youth.
Absolutely.
Now, in terms of Breakthrough University, initially Breakthrough University was a program, a digital online school that was targeted for childcare providers that were either in the industry or new to the industry. Okay. And our three things that we wanted to do for them was to help increase their enrollment, help them form family partnerships so they could possibly have family volunteers, and help them also form community partnerships so they could gain sponsors when they wanted to host events. Mm-hmm. But it took a turn, and we pivoted during the pandemic, mm-hmm. and we started to offer other products and services such as how to become a self-published author. And Absolutely. That's how we arrived here today.
Awesome. And so I know that you had talked about working with the Urban Affairs and the Work Ready program. And so you use the Work Ready program to be able to bring these amazing young people on there, as you said, to become self-published authors. And that's amazing. And so I want to talk to RABIATH and SANAA and just talk to them about their experience with Breakthrough and really see what they learned. How are you guys, ladies? Good. And so I want to find out about your experience this summer and share with the city, share with people about your experience with Breakthrough and the things that you learned. And so the first thing I want to ask you, SANAA, is before you joined Breakthrough this summer, how did you typically spend your summers? Like, what were you doing? Were you just sitting around chilling, or what would you do during the summer?
So my summers, they were pretty productive. I was going to summer camp. I was going to summer camp way before the pandemic started. I was probably going to go to summer camp this year too, but mm-hmm. you know how COVID and
yeah. So what kind of summer camp did you attend? What was it like there?
It was like a YMCA, and it was fun. We went swimming every day, played games, went outside to the park. It was fun.
Okay. And Rabia, tell me a little bit about your summers. How did you spend summers prior to joining Breakthrough this summer?
I like to stay busy, so typically I would spend my summer volunteering and doing other school programs and things like that. I also do summer school to get some extra credits.
Mm-hmm.
And other than the volunteering, I would work with my mom as a bus aide for special education children as well.
That's awesome. So the one thing that I'm hearing is these varied experiences. Like you guys have done a lot of different stuff and you tried to stay really productive. And the one thing that I've always really thought is that if you provide youth with extraordinary experiences, you'll produce an extraordinary individual. And I really do think summertime is the perfect opportunity to be able to get those experiences, to be able to really change your life. And so it's awesome that you were able to do Breakthrough University this year. And so I want to kind of get into that a little bit. I want to know a little bit more about your experiences and have you, talk in depth about what you did this summer. So the first time I had the opportunity to meet you was a couple weeks ago. I had the opportunity to be the photographer for the book that you're producing. And so, SANAA, do you know the title of the book?
Yes.
Okay, so can you tell me the title of the book and then also just a little bit about what you wrote about, maybe your part in the book as well?
From the ashes of COVID, we will rise is the name of the book. And my part in it was I talked about how COVID affected me and how it was hard to adjust to it at first. And then I overcame. And then I talked about how my mom, she works at the hospital. So it was like a risk of her getting COVID, and also my grandma because she's older.
Yeah.
And that was it.
What are some of the concerns, that you have as like a teen in this really difficult time? Like, what are some of the concerns that you have, with just maintaining normalcy in your own life as a child, I don't want to call you a child, but as a teen?
I was scared that someone that was really close to me could get it, and I would have to like lose them to COVID. I didn't like that. I couldn't go outside. I couldn't be with my friends, and that's like something that I always do.
Yeah.
Like everything just switched so fast. It's just everything went virtual. Everything was just like you had to stay inside. You got to wipe down everything. You got to use hand sanitizer. You got to wash your hands as much as you already do. And it's just it changed.
Yeah. Rabia, I wanted to ask you, so what was your part? What did you want to talk about as far as your experience with COVID and rising up, through the ashes of COVID?
So I talked about how COVID affected me and how during the summer, since I couldn't do as much as I usually would, I kind of lost the motivation to work hard, be top at everything that I wanted to be, but how working with this actually gave me the motivation that, oh, you can still accomplish things through hard times, and it's okay that like there are obstacles that are going to happen, but the best part about it is that you can rise above that and then do your best.
Wow. How profound. So now you feel the same way? You're like this is I feel like this is the come up season, like, even though through these difficult times, like you were actually able to increase your life. You were actually able to learn and do things that you maybe might not have thought about or had the opportunity to do if it wasn't for COVID. And so, that's a great thought. I wanted to ask you, KRISTIN, what was the motivation? Like, why did you decide to and this may come from your experience as a mother, as a entrepreneur, as a professional, but what was your motivation behind wanting to help these young people through COVID by creating the book, by doing the book? Like, what's the motivation behind that?
Right. So initially, my degree is I have a Bachelor of Arts in Psychology from Temple University.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, I have many years of experience doing TSS work in and out of the school, along with being a family advocate for a Head Start program and foster care, kinship care, social worker. So I had extensive years of experience of working with youth, and I got a chance to see how if the mental health is not intact, it can really affect everything. So I said, you know what? I didn't see anything that was anyone or anybody that were talking to the youth. I'm like, well, if I'm going to teach them a skill, they're going to have this skill. And yes, they can go and change the world and become self-published authors, but we might as well just go ahead full throttle, put the book together. So this way they tangibly have something to say, I created this. There's no I can't do. No, yes, I can do, because I did it. I created it. And not only did I create it, I got a chance to express myself. And this is going to be something that's going to forever be ingrained in my mind of what I had to go through, what I had to overcome. And I just wanted other people to be able to see that there was more to Philadelphia than violence. I wanted people to see that our youth had character, our youth had integrity, our youth had feelings, despite what many people may think. So I just wanted to give them a voice.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You said a couple things there about just, you know, I often hear, you know, very blanket statements about the youth of today and how lost the youth of today are, and how so many people want to lump, you know, amazing young people like you ladies who are on this call into one generation of these lost souls. And I can't stand to see that. I don't like to see that, you know, young people be lumped when we know that there are people out there who have potential, who have just the will to want to be successful. And it's evident that you guys have that by being on this call first, and then also being part of Breakthrough. And so I want to ask you this. Why do you think it's important, thinking about your own life and some of the values you've learned, why do you think it's important for people, you know, of your age to be involved in summer programs? And I'll ask you first, Rabia, what do you think is the most important thing about being part of a summer program for a young person like you?
Honestly, I would have to say it's the experience that you get, because different summer programs will help us learn different lessons. Like, for example, last year I learned electricity skills. This year I'm learning how to become a self-published author. And these are skills that I can use in the future. I can use it as a career. And it's all things that broaden my palette. Like, I never knew I would be interested in becoming a self-published author until I took this class. I never knew that electricity is something I would love to do as like a hobby even. So it's nice for us to get a feel for the different things out in this world, because there are so many different aspects that we could go through, but with these summer programs, they give us those paths that we can take.
Absolutely. And not to mention, you got to get paid, right? Like, you got a little cash, little coin in your pocket to learn a new skill. So that's awesome as well. SANAA, I wanted to ask you, you said that you have been to summer camps, and I went to the YMCA summer camp when I was younger. Why do you think it's important, and not just why, but what are some of the skills that you have learned, you know, at your different summer programs, whether it be this year or even at the YMCA? So first, why is it important? Then what are some of the things you've learned?
Why is it important? It's because it gives you something to do every day. It gives you a reason to like wake up and go out and do new things. And what was the second question? Sorry.
And then the second question was, what are some of the skills or values or things that you learned in some of these summer programs that you've been a part of?
I've learned how to make new friends.
Awesome.
I've learned to adapt to new situations. I learned, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Well, no, that's good. That's good. I mean, so I think the first thing, and Chris will tell you, like, your network determines your net worth. And so just by one being comfortable starting conversations with people, getting to know other people, that's a skill in and of itself. And then to recognize that, that's self-awareness. That's a whole nother skill. And so it's great to hear you say that. Kristen, when you have these kids in your program, what are some of the values or skills that you want them to take from you as a mentor, as a program leader? Like, what do you want kids to say? You know what, Miss Chris, she rubbed this off on me. It's all over me now.
Yeah. So that's a good question. So I want to say one of the things that I would think rubs off on them from me, because I really push it, is the gift and the art of public speaking.
Mm-hmm.
I push that on them. I always try to get them to, interact and say how it is they're feeling, what's their opinion. Even when we were doing our soft edit of the book, I'm like, well, what do you think? How does that sound? That doesn't sound right. They don't sound right to me. Does that look right? Oh, I think I messed up with this. So we did a lot of that, just getting them to voice themselves. And I even had them journaling. So they were getting creative. They were learning creative ideas of being able to know how to express themselves, putting that pen to pad, so to speak. So I would say ultimately what I would think and hope that they have learned from the course in terms of some foundational skill sets would be the art and the gift of public speaking, creative writing. I would think they would learn just how to be just creative in itself, just getting their creative juices flowing, so to speak, so they can think about other things that's not always video games. Don't get me wrong. I know that that's the industry in itself, but just something else outside of what is normal, because this is probably a rarity to have young people, collaborating and self-publishing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The one thing that I notice about both of you young ladies is how well spoken you are, and how open you are with your thoughts. And I remember being very similar when I was younger, is being proud of being well spoken. But it wasn't always well received by my friends. They would always tell me, well, you sound like this. Well, you talk white. You talk like this. Like you have this, you have that, you have these kind of characteristics. And those are things that always bothered me. Have you ever experienced those things in your life, just having been so well spoken or articulate? I'm just curious if you've ever had your friends talk down on you for being well spoken.
Yes.
How's that make you feel?
It's like bad. I can't say it make me feel real bad, but it just like, I don't know. You need to be more open-minded when it comes to things like that. Like, just why you gotta talk down on somebody because the way they speak or the way they speak, like, I don't like this.
Yeah. Yeah. How about you, Rabia? You ever deal with any of that?
Yeah, I can't say I have, just because the environment I'm always in. I change my tone based on who I'm talking to. So yeah, when I talk to my friends, I more or less talk in the similar tone that they do.
Yeah.
But when I'm talking to anyone outside of that immediate friend group, I become a bit more formal toward what I'm doing.
Yeah, it's amazing that you even described it as a bit more formal. I don't even know that I would have had that language or been able to say that at that age. That's amazing. And again, I'm just so impressed. And not that I shouldn't be, but I think in just my experiences having grown up and things having changed, it's maybe becoming more widely accepted. Although back in the day, I think it was kind of difficult for people to express how they really felt about seeing someone so educated that looked different than them. We didn't always have the words for it. And then as we became a little more politically correct, I think it happened. So I just wanted to, you guys, as I've gotten to know you and talk to you, I love to point out that you guys are very articulate and able to just express your feelings so clearly, and it's amazing. So keep that up, because as Ms. Chris said, public speaking is so important, and being able to share your thoughts is important. I do want to ask you guys this, and we're coming down to the end of our time, but I do want to ask you, and as you think about moving forward and growing up in your life, and so now what grade are you going to? I forgot.
10th.
You go to 10th grade, and Rabia, what grade you going to?
I'm going to 12th.
12th grade, nice. And so, being high schoolers, and Rabia, you're going to be in 12th grade this year. What type of lessons have you learned this summer that you can take and move forward and use this year and moving on into college, 10th grade into 11th grade? What type of lessons have you learned? It could be in our program, it could be in school, in your everyday life, but what type of lessons have you learned that you can use moving forward? Rabia, you can go first.
I would have to say just being open to learning new things, because that's something that's really over this summer I've learned that over my high school years, just being not confining myself to a simple bubble that would restrict me from trying something new. Like, in the simplest example, let's say my favorite color is blue, which means I don't wear anything orange or anything yellow, but later you try new colors and you find out the rainbow is actually beautiful and you love these new different colors. That's the thing. Like, I would have to say, just be open to trying new things, learning, gaining experience, just learning about yourself and the world around you, because it could only benefit you now and in the future.
Absolutely. Well said. How about you, SANAA?
I've learned that when you're in a group, everyone has to be on the same page. When everyone has to be on the same page to get what you want done, and everyone has to contribute to what you want done. Because if everybody not on the same page and everybody don't contribute, then it's not a group effort. And some things really do have to be a group effort in order to get what you got to do done.
Absolutely. You guys have some amazing thoughts. I want to come to you, Ms. Chris, and just, if you thinking about your program this year and where you want people to leave coming out, what do you see for our kids I want to make sure I frame this right, but Breakthrough University is an interesting program because, as you said, it services so many different people. You talked about adults, and then you talked about helping kids. I want to ask, where do you see Breakthrough University moving forward as you help kids to develop different skills? How do you see it developing from just the children's book to other things?
Okay. I'm glad you asked this. So, before I go into that question, I just want to give a little caveat.
Yeah.
So when I was 16 years old, I had to work 3 jobs. I worked 3 jobs because my mother and father were both laid off literally within, I want to say, a month to a month and a half apart. So they were having some trouble with getting the unemployment, and we had a lot of bills. So what happened? I had to work these 3 jobs while I went to a magnet high school, maintain an adequate and proper GPA to be able to get some scholarship money when it was time for me to go to college. And I had to help pay bills. So I had a lot of responsibility at an early age. And that is why, not only why I work so hard for my family, but why I go so hard with pouring myself into others, especially the young people, because number one, I don't want people to have to go through the struggle that I had to go through when I was a kid. I never want anybody to have to go through that. I will say this: had I had the skills of being a self-published author, knowing that I always had a love for reading and writing, I would have become an author at an earlier age, so I wouldn't have had to work 3 jobs. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So moving forward in terms of breakthrough and what we hope to aspire to do for our community, especially our young people, I'm hoping that we can get the program itself, this self-published children's book author piece. I'm hoping that we can take this to the schools, not just for the school district of Philadelphia, but nationwide. We really want to get this program into the schools, be it middle school, high school, whatever the case. We want to get the program in because we want the youth to know that there are other ways that you can go out and make a decent income legally, and just expand their mindset. So that's ultimately, that's one of the top goals. We want to take this program into the schools. In addition, we want to become not just a universal name within the United States. We want to be known nationwide for the services, for the customer service that we offer, for the philanthropy that we offer, because we do a countless, I have multiple businesses. So in every business that I have, and that firsthand, I have that philanthropy piece. So we just want to give back. We want to help someone because that's just the right thing and the best thing to do. And I think ultimately, regardless of what business you're in, whether you're in a for-profit, non-profit sector, whatever the case, if you always make it your goal to reach back and help somebody else, I think that will ultimately help humankind. It will help humanity.
Definitely. Well, we're coming down to the end of our time real quick, but I just wanted to thank you guys so much for being on. Thank you, Ms. Kris, for sharing about Breakthrough University and this amazing program. And this was our first episode of season 3 of Youth Uncut. This year, we're looking forward to having more youth organizations from Philadelphia join us this season. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll talk to you soon.